Welcome to another photo walk. Today it's a gorgeous early spring day here in Helsinki, and this feels so good after about 2.5 months of total darkness. Let's get some shots. My camera setup today is the Canon R5 Mark II and the 50mm F1.4 VCM lens. Big huge thanks to Canon Finland for letting me borrow this setup so I can take it for a spin and share some of my pictures with you guys. I'm gonna start off at this street corner. The metro entrance usually offers some at least half decent photo moments. The light is just about right. Now I just have to go close enough and wait for some people to pass across my frame. This is a good spot. Now I only need some people in my frame. And yes, look at that. The sliding door opened at the wrong time and covers the person on the left. But I still like the picture. I like how the characters are in the frame. Not a bad start at all. Now let's move on to the other side. This is the same exact setup from another angle. From this angle I can see more reflections in the window, and that might add something to my picture. Let's see how this goes. There comes a guy in a yellow coat, and yes, I like this frame a lot. There's a lot of blue in the picture and the yellow stands out nicely against the blue, and of course the light hits the guy quite nicely. Another good one right at the start. I'm very happy already. The main railway station interior can look really cool if the sun is where it is right now. Let's go inside and see how it looks and if there's another photo moment waiting for us there. Now look at that backlight, isn't it awesome? And I think it would be a crime not to at least try a few pictures here. And by the way, can you see how people are paying no attention at all to my relatively big Canon camera setup? I'm clicking away, but I'm not completely happy yet. But now, look at that red hair. It fits so nicely with the yellow warm background. And also the same guy in the yellow coat is on the left. It's not a masterpiece, but it's not too bad either. Let's go and see how it looks from the other side, because front light can also sometimes look really cool and awesome. Now these two ladies right there, I think the light hits them pretty much perfectly. Let me hit the shutter. And there it is. Isn't the rim light pretty much perfect in this one? No more words necessary. Now let's finally see how the front light looks. I'm clicking away here just to sort of get the feel of the situation. And now I can see an orange suitcase coming up, and I think that might just do it. Let's hit the shutter, and yes, I like this picture. I like the spot colors, orange, red, and there are sort of 3 layers in this picture: the people in the front, the people in the middle, and then the background behind the window. Not a masterpiece, but a decent shot anyway. I really do like those shadows on the ground, and I'm also thinking maybe a wider lens would be nice, but I have my 50, so I just have to make do with that. Here comes a nice group of people and many shadows. I really like this in contrasty black and white. I like the rim light, I like the shadows. Another pretty decent one, in my opinion at least. There's a good looking shiny reflection on the ground, but it's not enough as it is. It needs something else in there, and this is exactly what I was asking for. I like the abstract nature of the picture. I like the texture. Looks so good in monochrome. Today I'll shoot raw as always, and later on I'll post-process my pictures in DxO Photolab 8. I'll put a link down below for Photolab 8, just in case you got interested and would like to find out more. How about this one? There's definitely potential here. If I can get 3-4 people exactly right on the stairs, I think it can look really, really nice. Yeah, I like this one. Those 3 black figures are almost perfect in the frame, and then there is this one almost bright white character in the background. This definitely is going to be one of the keepers from this photo walk. Now, what is happening over there? I like the light, I like the composition, but I want those cars out of my frame before I take the actual picture. And I really, really like this. I'm pretty far away, but I like how those people are posed or arranged in the shot, and it's so easy to imagine in your head some sort of a story about what is happening here. This park looks absolutely fantastic in this light, but unfortunately I can't see anything super interesting for my camera. Hold on, I'll take that back. The scene on my left looks actually quite nice, and I'm sure it'll look great in monochrome, so I'm gonna give it a go. And I really like the end result. The bright buildings in the background, the dark trees in the foreground, and the nice blue sky that appears quite dark in the picture. I really like it. It reflects the best part of Helsinki in the winter quite nicely. Now it's time for a cup of coffee, and I also need to buy some coffee beans because I'm almost out of beans. This cafe called Kaffa Roastery, in my opinion, is by far the best cafe in Helsinki. So if you happen to be in Helsinki and you'd like to have a really good cup of coffee, this is the place. And this is not sponsored, by the way. I just like their coffee so much. First, I'm gonna grab 1 kilogram of my favorite beans, and then I'm gonna order a cappuccino.
Okay, I'll have this one and a cappuccino, please.
Drink here, take away?
Here.
Is regular milk okay, or would you like?
Yes, regular milk is fine.
My camera bag is not big enough for the beans, so I'm gonna have to hold the beans in one hand and the camera in one hand. But fortunately, the Canon setup is really convenient for single hand use. Not that I would ever recommend this type of shooting. I would always recommend for you to use 2 hands to support your camera properly, unless you have a really, really good reason to only use 1 hand like I have today. Now let's take a look at those reflections up ahead, because I'm pretty sure there is a composition in those reflections waiting for me. Now this looks promising, but I definitely need a person in my frame, a real person on the other side of the glass. And I'm just going to wait here for a few moments if someone would like to step into my frame. And yes, someone is walking into my frame. I like this one. It's a bit of a mess, but I like the color combination, I like the real person versus the reflections, and it sort of comes together, at least in my mind, even though I admit it looks a bit chaotic at first. And here are the revolving neon letters that I always photograph if I happen to pass this location. Let's see how it works out today. I'm waiting for the right kind of reflection. And there it is. I like the reflection of the guy in the middle. I like the color combination of red and blue. I'm not too crazy about the van and the bus in the background, but all in all, it's a decent shot. And what do we have here? Do we have silhouettes? Yes, they always look amazing, so this is a must-have. Those 3 silhouettes and their reflection in the window looks amazing. The blue circle in the background works, and there are 2 faint blue circles in the foreground on the bike's rims. And of course, blue and yellow always work together. Now I'm waiting for this one guy in the background to walk in a little bit closer, but first let me grab one more shot of just these 2 characters here. The silhouettes look great, the reflection in the window looks great, This works for me. Now we have some more people towards the left of the frame, so one more shot. Those extra characters on the left, they balance out the composition nicely. Too bad these two characters are not separated properly anymore, but I still like this one. I hope this photo walk so far has been inspirational for you guys. But just in case you're looking for even more inspiration, please check out my e-zines. I'll put the link down below. And if you buy one of my e-zines, you'll support my channel at the same time. That was a super fun photo walk. But before I wrap this up, let me share a few thoughts on this Canon setup, the R5 Mark II and the new 50 f1.4 lens. In the past, I have owned several Canon cameras, and I have also used some of these later Canon mirrorless cameras, but I don't own any Canon cameras right now. So I'm not as familiar with Canon as I am with the Sony, Panasonic and Nikon, because I own at least one camera from all those three brands. But here are my first initial thoughts anyway after this photo walk session. First, some things that I'm not too crazy about, and then some things that I really like. The first thing that I'm not too crazy about is this Canon version of the mode dial. Especially with gloves, I find it slightly more awkward to use than the traditional mode dial that I can find on my Canon, Sony and Nikon cameras. And another thing that I'm not too crazy about on this lens is the aperture ring. It was a little bit of a disappointment for me because I like aperture rings, but this Canon ring has no clicks. There is no switch to turn the clicks on or off. It's just smooth, and it's pretty clear that Canon has designed this for video shooters and not so much for photo users. A clickless ring like this, in my opinion, is pretty much useless for photography. First of all, I can't count the clicks. That's a very effective way to go 1 or 2 stops higher or lower by counting the clicks. And another thing is that, especially with gloves, it's way too easy to knock the ring and unintentionally change the settings when there are no clicks. So this is a minor disappointment. I was so looking forward to using an aperture ring on a Canon camera again. And one more complaint, my standard complaint regarding Canon cameras, is the closed arm mount system. Now the APS-C side of Canon already is a lot better. They have Sigma and I suppose other lenses too over there, but there are so far no full frame native autofocus third-party full-frame lenses for the Canon R mount, which is a shame. There are so many nice lenses out there. And here are some things that I really like about this setup. And the first is the build quality, which is awesome. This camera feels so solid and confidence inspiring in every situation. The next is the ergonomics. Even for a casual Canon user like me, it's so easy to grab the camera. Every control is where it's supposed to be, and the camera feels really nice in hand. And also the menu structure is really nice to use. Even for a casual user like me, it's very clear and it's easy to find whatever it is that you're looking for. The autofocus also felt super fast and reliable, at least with this particular lens. No complaints, perfect for street photography, for example. And one more is the beautiful image quality, of course. 45 megapixels, I think it's 45, something like that. Lots of pixels, lots of detail, lots of dynamic range, nothing to complain. Even if you have to crop a little bit, there's room for that. And you're still left with plenty of pixels, plenty of resolution. And once again, a big, huge thanks to Canon Finland for letting me borrow this setup. And when you see this video, I have already returned this camera back to Canon. If you found my photo walk and impressions on this Canon helpful, useful or entertaining, please consider supporting my channel. You can buy me a coffee if you don't live in Finland, link down below, or you can buy my e-zines, link down below. For that too, that would be the best way to support my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in the next one.